we start to talk about the third letter, which was written in January the 15th, 2001. First thing I would like to show you is the first paragraph of the letter. She says, to be sincere, this is the afternoon. This afternoon is the only moment of these 19 years that I will take with me for the whole eternity. And two things. It's not the first time that she says to be sincere. And for someone who says is being sincere the whole time, you don't have to make a propaganda of being sincere. Just be sincere. She's saying she's being sincere so much. You should pay attention and don't trust it. Empty words. And the other thing is the over the top with the word eternity. Over the top sentimentality, empty sentimentality. And the second paragraph I would like to show you of this third and final letter is where she says, when I reread and I tried to understand your words, each one of them, I concluded the same thing I had concluded before. The more you say you are being sincere, the more you lie. And even to yourself, which is the worst. Now, the first paragraph that I showed you, she was talking about being sincere. And at the time when I read this paragraph, it was hurtful to read this paragraph. It really hurt me. And it caused me a lot of anxiety because I was being criticized. I felt criticized by the one person that I was in a platonic love relationship, romantic friendship with. But it still hurts. I felt criticized. I felt like she was pulling away. I felt it was abusive. It was an emotional violence. And I felt confused because I thought to myself, where did this come from? This thing that she's telling me that I am lying, and that I'm lying to myself. And I asked, where did this come from? Where did she get the idea that I am a liar? Where did she get the idea that I was lying? And then where did she get the idea that I was lying to myself? Now, it could be two things. It could be the reflection or the effect of her love bombing. because I really liked this girl. You know, I kind of fell in love with her. But I kept some distance because first she had a boyfriend, and second she had an ugly past, and I knew that at that time, and I was afraid to get involved physically with this woman. But nevertheless, it was a romantic friendship. You can search on Wikipedia for it. You're gonna discover that romantic relationships or romantic friendships, which is the same as the emotional affair, it has the same effects as a sexual affair. Chemical effects in your brain and attachment is the same. And then, or this could be her abusive words saying that I was a liar, that I was lying to myself, and that I was not being sincere. The second explanation that I can think of is projection. She's projecting her bad deeds, her bad traits on me. She was projecting. And if she's saying about, she talks many times that she says she's being sincere, and I don't have this habit. I don't need to say I'm being sincere. I just am sincere. But she says all the time that she's being sincere, and then she says here, the more you say you are being sincere, the more you lie, and you lie to yourself. That's projection. That's projection. She's the one that's, the more she says she's being sincere, she was lying to me. And she was lying to herself because she was a narcissist. And she says, I love you. And let me show you here. The narcissist does this. Here we have written I love you in Portuguese, okay, in big letters. I love you in big letters. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You have the idea that the thing is so big, like those letters that I just showed you there. But the narcissist is a liar. She's the one who's lying to herself because she can't love. She can't attach. As a narcissist, she has a fear of intimacy. She's a wounded individual. She can't allow anybody to get too close in order to hurt her again. And she's the one who's lying to herself, and she was lying to me. I had no explanation for her words. It is abusive because it is false accusation. It is judging, it is criticizing, it is false accusation, and these are all forms of verbal abuse, emotional abuse. If you read the Patricia Evans book, The Verbally Abusive Relationship, you will see that those things are abuse, and many forms of abuse occurring here at the same time. It was hurtful, and now it is even more hurtful. The next paragraph is also important. She says, it is the continuation of the last paragraph. don't think that I disagree with you. When you express your disapproval to my situation. And the word situation I heard from two narcs, Narc 1 and Narc 2. And this is the story of Narc 2 I will tell later. Situation. And she puts between brackets being in a relationship with one, meaning one man, and love another, ... So I expressed my disgust at that time. I expressed my disgust with this situation. And her visual language is very interesting because she writes being in a relationship with one man, and in Portuguese you can use only one word, and you notice that the word, the way she draws the word is in a square, in a squared manner, and here is the word. And this word you can see having a relationship with one man, and then love the other. And the word love she writes in a circular way below my index here. And this gives important informations. Which basically she's telling that to have a relationship with a guy is something for convenience, and to love the other is a form of taking a ride, maybe. She's using one in two different ways. One she's using for the necessities of life, which are highly quotidian, boring in the eyes of the narcissist. And the narcissist hates reality, and one guy fulfills her reality needs, money, some kind of safe, that she's using the other for her supply, another form of supply, which is the supply of adulation, attention, admiration. And then she continues, really, it's not common and not even acceptable by the scum of society. You know, this situation, being in a relationship with one person and loving the other. Okay, after a short break I'm back. The word scum is not exactly this word, she puts it in brackets to refer to society. She uses the word yuck, and she writes it in capital letters, which means she's screaming. And then she says, well, I know that my situation is not acceptable for the yuck of society. And then she says, I want society to blow up. My voice probably is different here. I had to take a break because after I read those letters I got something in my throat, probably an infection. And I am kidding. I'm kidding when I'm kidding to myself, because maybe it's because I read too much of this poison that my throat got infected. And then she continues, what, answer me, this goddamn society did or does for us, if not reprimand us and cause us suffering, a lot of suffering? Answer me if you can. So she's attacking society here. And I think you have here, in a nutshell, what the narcissist thinks about society, and she tells it explicitly. She wants society to blow up. She calls society yuck. She calls it society a goddamn thing. And she continues, this disgrace, this scum of world, she's calling the world scum, never made me cry so happily as your confirmation. Yes, I love you. She's talking about my confirmation when I told her I loved her back. And so there you see, this is a very rebellious creature, wounded, angry against society and against, of course, the opinions of society, the rules of society. So that's why, maybe because that's why the narcissist doesn't play by the rules. Never. Or almost never. The next paragraph she says, I'm happy, completely happy. The same way when a child gets a doll, a very desired, a long desired doll. Or I'm happy like an adolescent who embraces people, parents, between brackets, with the certainty that she is loved and respected, in capital letters. And then she puts in brackets, why didn't they respect me? If they couldn't love me, at least respect I deserved. And then she closes the brackets. And here she mentions it is a form to mention her wound, or one of her wounds, and I knew nothing about it. She writes this, and I said, well, what is she talking about? Now I know, because we know about narcissism. She says she was not respected in the past, she says, and she says, well, if they didn't love me, at least respect. But there's no way. Without love, there's no respect. I don't know why she makes this separation between love and respect. She asks this. This is they call it unrealistic demands on people and on the world. Okay, how can you demand of someone who doesn't love you respect? You cannot. It's unrealistic. She continues in the next paragraph. She says my name, and then she says, I want you. In a pure form, in an innocent manner. I imagine the softness of your lips against mine, the taste of your saliva, the temperature of your hands touching me, your smell inebriating me. Oh, I said, in an innocent manner? I'm sorry if I'm being obscene. And here you see the contradiction and the fantasy of the narcissist. These fantastic idea that the narcissist has, that he is capable of loving in the most noble way. She says that she loves me in an innocent way, in a pure way, but then she gets sensual. Isn't it a pure contradiction? If she loves me in a pure way, why did she say, I imagine the softness of your lips against mine? That's sensual. This is from the material world, not from a pure and innocent spiritual form of love. If her love is pure and innocent, why does she says the taste of your saliva? That's sensual. Why does she say the temperature of your hands? That's the tact. And she says inebriating me. In Portuguese, inebriating, she uses another word that means to get drunk. You know, she feels drunk by my smell. That's what she says. And you see the reference to drugs again, to alcohol, it's funny how the narcissist makes references to drunkenness and to being in a state of in a drunken state. And she says she's obscene here. Forgive me if I'm being obscene. Yes, she's being. For someone who says that she feels an innocent and pure love, she's being obscene. And that's a sign that she is she's in a delusion of purity, of delusion of innocence, delusion of ideal love, pure love, noble love. It's fantasy. There is a moment here where she talks about self-esteem. She makes a comment about how I used to have low self-esteem. Of course, that made me a target. And she says that I shouldn't think so badly about myself. She considers me noble, and she says that I should do the same. I should think positively about myself. And this is, you can even laugh at the narcissist's face, because the narcissist is the first and perhaps the gravest case of low self-esteem in the face of the earth. And then he comes and tells you and lectures you about self-esteem. Hypocrite. That's hypocrisy. In another paragraph, she says, I call you friend because there's no doubt you are in my life the best, the only friend, she puts, that I had and that I desire, I wish, with no lies, I wish to become my ... love, companion, lover. Yes, I desire without daring, dreaming, or I dream without daring desire. All in all, I want you, I need you, I love you. Well, this is an exaggeration, the only friend. That's the old trick of saying that I am the person of her life, and that she consequently is the person of my life. That's an exaggeration. I am the only one, the only friend, even when you consider that she's so promiscuous, and that her past was a past of promiscuity. She comes and tells that I am the only friend. She continues in the next paragraph, and that's where she reveals her real intentions. Without waiting for anything, I propose that we love each other without fear and without fear again. She writes twice. No one will ever say anything because no one will ever know. And if all this becomes known to everybody, or if by accident it becomes known by other people, I am going to be responsible. I'm gonna make myself responsible for what happens. And you wanna know what? She says. What would they say? Because even if they try, they couldn't put malice in this love. Not in this love. No, in capital letters. Now you see the contradiction between this paragraph and the other paragraph in which she told she was being obscene. Nobody can put malice in this love. But she was the one who was being obscene, who was being sensual and malicious. She's the one who's doing all this. So what are you supposed to think about this kind of thinking? It's confusing, to say the least. And then she says, "Good night, my love. Don't forget I love you." And another thing about this last paragraph is that she says she's going to be responsible for anything that happens. And this is the meaning, this is the grading. It takes your masculinity, in the case of me being a man. It takes away your ability to be responsible for your actions. It is a sort of an arrogance that she is the one who controls, like the attitude behind this kind of words is that she's the one who's controlling everything. She's the one who's responsible for everything, and I have no responsibility for my actions. This is the meaning. That's treating me like a child. And in fact, this relationship was between the controller and the inferior, the one who's not responsible for his actions. That's what her words are telling me. And then at the end she makes another drawing, which is kind of weird. And in this drawing there is a place when you put the candle, and then two candles. The one in the place where you put the candle is little, and the other candle is the bigger one. And then you have two flowers, two roses. I knew that this woman was part of the Jehovah's Witness. Yes, Jehovah's Witness. And I don't know, I know nothing about this religion, but I don't know if it has roots in cults and occultism, but this drawing is what she had in her room, and this is suggestive of occultism. That's probably a kind of a ritual too. This is a description of a ritual, of an occult ritual. I saw it at a time and I said, strange. But then you start, the years go by and you begin hearing about rituals to spells that you can cast to make someone fall in love with you. And I see this drawing. I remember it was in her room. Those candles were black, and there were candles that were red. But I remember there were black candles here. That makes you think a lot. Well, this is the third and final letter, and in the next video I want to come with some final considerations about all these letters. Thanks for your time.